I want to talk about ported versus sealed subwoofers. I'm seeing a lot of talk about it, right? So this guy, K Pacey, he did a couple. He's been like on a sealed subwoofer kick, and he's got his friend that is now like trying to get rid of his PB17s, and he wants to go sealed. And his friend, shout out to him. They're like really good friends. And K Pacey, when he's done with his whatever gear he has, he either sells it to his friend at a discount or he just gives it to him. And he was one of the first channels that the guy listened to, so he kind of just like goes along with whatever K Pacey says. And K Pacey, for the most part, he knows a decent amount of things, like when it comes to home theater. I question some things, but for the most part, he's an enthusiast just like all of us, and you want to continue to support like fellow enthusiasts. The only thing is, like, I don't understand where he's coming from with this, right? Because it's like ported versus seal. If you are watching a lot of movies, because he used to have PB4000s and stuff like that, but now he's starting to get more into the Arndal, like them type of. I don't know if he's got a brand deal of what's going on. He had rhythmic subwoofers, like he went to sealed at one point, and then now he's got whatever those white subwoofers are. I think he's Arndal or something like that. Whatever the white ones are, he's got those and they're sealed, and they're saying that they are way better than ported. I think the ported versus seal argument is going to come in line with what you want, right? So if you're 50-50 music and movies, I would go ported. I would not go seal. I've got multiple different rooms with different receivers, right? So I've got an Onkyo RZ50 in a room, a Denon 3800H, Cinema 50. I've got an Anthem MRX 1140 in my main like area, and then in here I've got, this is just my shed, right? I've got an AVM 90 like Anthem receiver, like on a Kaleidoscape or whatever. And then here I've got PB 2000 subwoofers, and in the house I got PB 4000 subwoofers. In another room I've got sealed SB 2000 Pro subwoofers. I've been to Expo, I've heard the PB 17s. I've heard a lot of different subwoofers from a lot of different companies, right? In my opinion, whatever room I'm in, and I know like the smaller the room, the more extension you can get. Tuning becomes an issue, whether or not you run an RAW or you're letting Odyssey run it, or you got Arc Genesis, maybe Direct Live, depending on what you have running your subwoofers can determine how good or bad they can be, right? Because I always thought, I'm like, if I'm on if my subwoofers aren't loud enough, I may need like a bigger subwoofer, right? So then I move from the SB 2000 Pros, and then I move to the PB 4000s. You know what I mean? Then I had the PB, I got the PB 4000. I'm like, nah, I kind of want to go with the PSA 20 TV 21 iPows because they're big. They're like 21-inch subs and all that. But it wasn't until I got into tuning like subs that I found out a lot of times you don't need bigger subwoofers. A lot of times you may just need them tuned correctly so you can get the correct output, from your subs. So as far as if you watch a lot of movies, I would not recommend sealed subs. I wouldn't. Like, I went to Expona and they had the SB17s in there, and they were running like a demo of the Ninja Turtles. Like, it's a bass sweep towards the end of Ninja Turtles when they're like, I think they're like going down like some snow or whatever, like, and it's like it sweeps, right? And they were trying to convince me in a room at Expona that the SB17s go like so low, they're on par with like, or close to the PB 4000s, right? Or on par with the PB, better mid bass, and on par with the PB 4000s. I went home and listened to my PB 4000s. No, they are not. No, they are not. And I know there's no, replacement for displacement, but tuning is a big contributor. When you have subwoofers that are tuned lower, I don't care what people try to sell you on, it's what you can hear in your room, right? Though my PB 4000s wipe the floor with that SB17, right? And some people could say, oh, well, you running duals. I think they may have had like duals in there. Yeah, I think they had dual SB17s in there. But my PB 4000s like wiped and those are like bigger drivers. Like, weren't they like 17-inch drivers? And my PB4000's got 13.5-inch drivers, but they're ported. And I felt like I had more output and more, I would say, headroom than the SB17s. You know, and this guy, like in this video, his friend got PB17s, right? So he's going to get ported, more extension. The thing I like about SVS, right? You got different subwoofers. You got rhythmic. Some people like a Pearliston, which I don't understand. I've heard multiple different Pearliston setups. I do not get the big deal other than, you know, dealers trying to, you know, dealers affiliated with these YouTube reviewers and they try to sell you on them. I don't know. Like, I don't think they're as great as people say. People say JTR, in-game speakers, Youth Man, but you don't really hear them anywhere, right? So it's, you just got to go off his word. You know, like, and he's an affiliate and dealer for JTR. So the thing I like about SVS, you have a lot of different functionality, right? The app will allow you, if you have PB4000s, it will change the tuning and you could just port the plugs. So if you want faster transient response, if you want to listen to music or whatever, there you go. Like in here at my AVM90, I love listening to music. That's my thing. This is just shit, you know? And I love listening to music. I got R700s in here, and I love it. The bass, you can feel it's like impactful. And in here, it's only PB2000s. It's not, I got PB4000s in the house. And here it's impactful. Feels good, right? And you can port I think you can turn these to sealed if you want. They give you that option. You know, PB4000, I can seal them up if I want. They're not going to be super fast. They'll be faster than they are ported. And for the most part, like, unless you're listening to something super, like, you're on Rune and you're trying to hear, like, you know what I mean? Like, bass is not really there and all, you know what I mean? Like, if you like stuff like that, because I've heard super professional setups with, you know, a hi-fi roses and everything, and which really an AVM90, if you have an Anthem AVM90, sounds very close to hi-fi rose. Very good, right? Unless you like really just don't want to hear bass, go with sealed. You know what I mean? Or if you want just bass, just a little extension but not much, go with sealed. If you're 70-30 and you watch movies 30% of the time and listen to music 70% of the time, it'd probably make a little bit more sense to go with sealed. But if you are watching movies 50% of the time, even 60% of the time, I would recommend ported. I think sealed subwoofers are girly, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not saying like, get mad. I think they are, bro. They don't they don't go as low, bro. And I've got sealed subwoofer, but you know, they do all right. But I think you can locate them a little bit easier, like when they're sealed. Like ported is just better, bro. Like, and it's like parts in movies where you hear that, like that, you know what I mean? Like that bass note sweep. You hear that. Some information is lost in the sealed configuration. And I don't know why anybody wants to watch a movie with missing information. Like, that makes no sense to me. And the SB17s, they were powerful, but they didn't get as low as what I'm used to hearing. Well, I'm sorry, you know, we can't hear past a certain hertz anyway, but like a feeling, not hearing, but feeling. They didn't get as low as I'm used to feeling, right? And you want to feel the vibration, you know, and sealed, I feel like it just, you don't get that. It's like, it's a girly little bass note, no matter how you tune it. And then you don't want to over tune a sealed subwoofer because you're going below like its tuning frequency. Like if you're trying to do that to make it go low, you know, you might as well get a ported subwoofer. So I don't know, like in every configuration that I've heard and listened to, unless you are just 2-channel music, get a sealed 2-channel music. But if you have a theater And I see a lot of people making this mistake, right? Because they may listen to people like him. And I'm not telling you don't. I think he, you know, for some things like he knows about, right? But I see it oftentimes when you go to home theater sites like on Facebook and people are getting rid of their products. They're always getting rid of sealed subwoofers. And I'll ask people, I'm like, why are you getting rid of those? And they will be like SB16s and like, you know what I mean? Like they'll have like dope, like you would think like high quality, like sealed subs or even real like Predators. Like they would have like some dope looking like sealed subs. And I'll always ask them like, why are you getting rid of these? And they will be like, well, they don't go low enough. I always see people getting rid of sealed subwoofers. I rarely see people getting rid of ported subwoofers for sealed subwoofers. Rarely. It's just like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, you want to, like, the sealed subwoofers, you know what I mean? It's just, they don't give you that impact. You know what I mean? Like that big, that THX, big bass sweep, that fire, like they don't do that for me. And I've got them, you know what I mean, in one of my rooms. I just don't get it. I don't know what Kate Pacey and this dude is talking about. And if you got PB17s and you're getting rid of those for sealed, 17-inch driver is going to be a little bit slower, you know what I mean? But if you can port it and make it faster and change the tune in the app. So it's like, what's the problem? If you're watching movies, why go sealed? Makes no sense to me. Everybody's got their own like perspective on what they like. Some people just like sealed for whatever reason. I ain't mad at you. I just don't get it. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think down in the comment section. Sealed or ported? Sealed, hey, that's for movies. I'm sorry, for music. Ported, movies. I spend most of my time, if I sit down, it's movies, you know? So I don't know. And then another thing, like when I go in my room, because my 2-channel setup is in my bedroom, right? And I got a sealed subwoofer in there. And sometimes I like watch movies, you know, the Phantom Center, like in my room, right? Not in my theater, not in here, but just in my room. Phantom Center channel and all of that. And I'm like, man, I've watched these scenes like so many times and it's so much I can't hear because my subs don't go low enough. My sealed subs don't go low enough. And it's aggravating to me. But if I listen to some music, some quick transient response music, it's cool. You know, but I don't know. I really don't understand the hype with sealed over ported. Like I don't. You know, but y'all tell me what y'all think down in the comment section. But Kate Pacey, I told you I was going to make a video about this. Shout out to you, bro. Keep doing your thing. I'm out, y'all. Peace.